Breaking off the top of 2 News at 10, thousands without power. More evacuations in place tonight as a wildfire continues to burn in North Ogden. Thanks for joining us for 2 News at 10. I'm Mark Cabell.
And I'm Jamie McGriff. A major wind shift tonight has expanded evacuations to more than 100 homes. And now crews are trying to keep the flames from reaching homes. And some good news, Utah Fire Info says so far no structures have been lost.
Hey, we do have team coverage for you on the Willard Peak Fire tonight, starting with David Ochoa. David, what's the very latest? Bring us up to speed.
Well, I do have a little bit of good news. In the last 5 minutes, the lights here at the park we've been on have turned on. You can probably see how this playground here is kind of illuminated. But we don't know how far that extends, but just where we're at, which is just below the evacuation zone, the lights have turned on here. It's been a pretty eventful day today. We were out in an LDS church not too far from here where the staging area was, when suddenly around 7:30-ish, we noticed a large line of fire that was just feet away from us. And right then, that's when sheriff or the fire officials told us all to get out. They told us we need to evacuate because how close and how large this fire was, and how, and just the potential danger. But we were in that area for hours, and there was, for the most part, it was pretty calm. The wind wasn't too bad. The helicopter flew down and actually landed. I talked to the pilot who said, that they just came down a little bit because they expected a wind event, but for a while there was nothing, and they were actually getting ready to go back up. I talked to the PIO who told us that at the time everything looked good. Their anchor point was strong, so things were looking pretty good. But then around 6:50, 7 o'clock, the wind shifted, and it shifted hard. Suddenly all of that fire and smoke that was on the hillside was now in our face. An intense cloud of smoke that just came down upon us. And then we did an interview with the PIO at 7:15, and we talked about the wind and just about how that wind shift they were expecting and what they were planning to do as the night went on.
So we're going to obviously keep crews on scene. We've called in a lot of resources to help us. The winds aren't in our favor because we're not able to do air operations. We have to be super careful. So we have hand crews that are working on the fire as safely as possible, but as aggressively as possible. And we'll just monitor, and we're trying to, the end goal is to skirt that fire around the houses if it does come down to the neighborhoods, and push that up the mountain rather than down into the houses.
Now again, right after that interview is when this line of fire disappeared behind the houses on the hill where we were, and that's when they kind of just ushered us all out of there. Everyone that was there, the Red Cross was there, packed up, everybody left very quickly, the mobile command unit, and that's when we came down to this park here, and we've been watching the fire on the hillside just go up the hill. It's good news, as we said earlier, that no structures have been damaged as of right now, but again, we've been out here with people, just as people have been watching to see what might happen, because many of them have houses up there. But it's just been a very active day, a very active scene with this fire, which was, at 150 the last that I talked to the PIO, but again, it's still a lot going on. They're going to be fighting this fire throughout the night, but we'll see just how it goes, and hopefully it stays at no structures burned. But reporting live here in North Ogden, David Ochoa, KUTV 2 News.
All right, David, thanks. Now we go to Leslie Duarte, who spoke with some of the 100-plus people who were forced to leave their homes as the flames kept getting closer.
And Leslie, you have been to different sites. Where are you at this point, and what are you seeing?
Jamie, Mark, that's right. I was earlier up that mountain from where I'm standing, that's probably where I was, where those flames are now. At that time, when I was reporting in the earlier shows, everything seemed to be under control. The fire was moving uphill, but suddenly around 6:57, everything changed. An intense wind came on that mountain and shifted the fire downhill, which evacuated people to leave their homes. According to fire officials, around 150 homes have been evacuated, and they won't be able to return until 9 in the morning tomorrow. This fire has certainly shifted, and it just goes to show and tell how fast and how quickly Mother Nature can impact and spread fires. Tonight, hundreds of homes are evacuated, and we spoke to one family who says they were having dinner, everything was fine, but things got real.
As Really real, and it's very dry, and one small thing can be catastrophic like that, whatever it was that caused it, whether it was natural causes or human caused, and it spreads quite quickly. They did a fantastic job. There were multiple airdrops of helicopters that kept dropping to get it under control the first time, but then Mother Nature decides to do something different, which, you know, picks up those winds. It brings the flames up and shifts everything, and then you're like, okay, this is real again.
Yeah, unexpected for that family. They thought they were fine until they were not and had to leave. Now, from where I'm standing, we can feel this wind picking up. Certainly could pose a challenge as firefighters continue to battle this fire. However, fire officials just told me helicopters are not flying overnight as it is too dark, and they will resume their air fighting efforts tomorrow morning if conditions allow it to. Let's just zoom in into this hillside behind me before we leave you guys. That is a hillside where pretty much was not earlier this morning or earlier this afternoon. That hillside has certainly spread. At times it looks better, at times there's pop-up flames that just seem very intense, and so far, authorities tell us no structures have been destroyed in this fire or caught on fire. They're telling us firefighters were able to stop some of those flames right before it reached some homes. Reporting live, Jamie, Mark, back to you in the studio.
Leslie Duarte, thank you. Dozens of homes are threatened by this fire, with many having to evacuate to prepare for this, the worst.
Yeah, Brian Will speaking with homeowners that were right on the fire line, and he continues our team coverage for us tonight. And Brian, what does it look like now, and what are residents doing?
Jamie and Mark, we're back in that neighborhood tonight, and just appeared a few hours ago that they were in the clear, but that is not the same right now as these shifting winds have pushed those flames and those hot spots encroaching on these homes. Neighbors around here told me that some were leaving to go and stay at hotels, some were evacuating, and some were even hunkering down.
I was worried about it because it's been so dry. You know, it ain't rained for 3.5 months.
We've always been a little nervous about it.
Tammy Scholerman and her family were out enjoying their pool when they noticed a little bit of smoke rising into the air on the mountain behind their home. It was around 2 on Wednesday afternoon when they first noticed this smoke.
Started with just some smoke over here, and I did call 911, and then it just started growing, and it went to about three different fires.
Another neighbor, Gary Hoxler, called 911 when he got home and saw the flames.
I moved up into here. This is where it got really bad.
From trucks to planes and even helicopters dousing the fire right above this neighborhood, which quickly spread to more than 150 acres. Now these homeowners are waiting in the dark to see if their homes are safe from this fire.
Our power is out, and we did just get a notice to evacuate.
A long night ahead for those right in the path of the flames.
We get the drainage winds at night, which blow back down the mountain.
If the wind changes direction, that'll be a problem.
And that is the case tonight. The wind has changed direction, and they have ceased air operations here. In some homes, the power is back on in some of these neighborhoods. But tonight, just hoping that the fires stay away from some of these homes. Reporting live in North Ogden, Brian Will, KUTV 2 News.
All right, Brian, thank you. We've been keeping you updated all night through push alerts like this one. You can receive these push alerts as soon as we get breaking news. It's easy. Just download our 2 News mobile app. It's free to download.